States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting of Wahoo City Council, January 27th, 7 o'clock p.m. Open meeting is posted on the wall. Call the meeting to order, roll call.
Stuart Krejci.
Here.
Shane Sweet.
Here.
Carl Woodford.
Here.
Brian Ideas.
Here.
Patrick Nagel.
Here.
Chris Raffner.
Okay, audience comments. I think everybody's going to say something tonight that's here, so unless you have some other comments on something not on the agenda, we will move forward. And the first report is from Library Director.
Have any slides or fancy stuff, I do it old school, so, just a few things here. Update on the library remodeling project. Just want you to know that we have the final design drawings completed from JEO. They came last week. The contractor has had them, and he's been working with different subs that are interested in bidding on the job, and they've been coming in and everything. The Library Foundation is lining up all the money and the funding. We've already paid quite a few bills, so we're doing well on that. Everything's coming in pretty well, so going along very well. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask me. Saturday, February 7th is the Wahoo Library will be only one of only 3 libraries in Nebraska that is going to host a Take Your Child to the Library Day. We were the first in the state to register our library for this event. It's just going to be a fun event that they're encouraging families to come out, take their kids to the library. It's a great opportunity for us because we're cleaning out some stuff in the basement that we've had for a long time, because it's going to be like a make and take craft event. So we've got stuffed animal things to do and other fun things that they can come in and do that. We may even, Carrie's has on here, there might be some dancing too, so some dance for the library too. And of course we'll have treats, so that should be a fun day for that on Saturday, February 7th. Christmas decor sale, we have that every year. If you're not familiar with that, people donate their unwanted holiday decorations to us. And every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This was our 24th year, and it was the best one ever. We did $6,000 for that. It's amazing. The library friends basically donated most of theirs. Spent $815 yesterday on new book props for the updated children's area. So they're really great about funding all of the summer programs. We never have to worry about, do we want to have, like this year we'll have Wildlife Adventures come, The Magician, all of those things. They pay for everything. So great resource for us, and obviously it was a great sale. So we appreciate everyone who donated and shopped. I think your wife, Patrick, was here several times and helped us out a lot. So we appreciate that.
Well, still needed to get decorations for her tree in her room. Every kid wanted their own tree in their own room this year, so they all decorated their own tree.
Yeah, and it's, why not do it, and it's reasonably priced and it goes for a good cost, so. They'll also be adding like new furniture and helping with the new things in the new children's area. They'll provide things that we won't make the foundation pay for everything, so they'll help with that. Just some fun stats. I'll let you know the last year of the library, we had over 31,000 people came through our doors during fiscal year 24-25, an average of 2,600 people a month. So that looks pretty good. Over 3,500 people came to the library to participate in a meeting. So, well, that was probably through you all here. So those nights when you had 25, 30 people, that helped us. So we appreciate that. So keep up the controversial meetings. So then, 238 kiddos enjoyed and read thousands of books during the summer reading program last summer. Outreach, Carrie goes out to Wahoo Elementary and reads at Mrs. Stukenholz's kindergarten class and Happy Hearts Daycare. And she read to 1,945 kids between those visits last year, so that was great. Biggest numbers, digital use, 4,990 users downloaded or viewed over 41,690 items last year. So that is huge. That's the audiobooks, the ebooks, television, movies, magazines, newspapers. So it's awesome. Total library use for fiscal year 24-25 was 119,620. That includes everything that I can possibly count that happens in the library. Study room usage, people who come in to fax and scan and all of those things and that. So one fun thing that I'm excited about, I submitted a proposal last month to be a part of a national conference that they do online every year. It's called Big Talk for Small Libraries. And it's a free online conference that's open where libraries under 10,000 population cities can present things like what's happening at their library that another library may be able to use or find useful. So it's training. We get CE hours for that. And so they put out a call for just like quick round things over the lunch hour. So I submitted like a 15-minute proposal about our Christmas sale. So I'm going to do one on our 24 years of Christmas sales at the library. So I'll be on nationally, or I guess it's worldwide, so who knows? What could happen? I could become viral. So anyway, more like a virus, I'm sure. So anyway, that's what is happening. Then my Christina, who is my Christine, who is my guru tech girl, she has gone through and created a local resources page that we will be putting on our website. And it lists all kinds of wonderful local resources that residents, if they click on our website, can find, get to us, find out about things, know what's going on. And if you have any to add, let us know. We'll be happy to add. The only thing we're not adding are for-profits, so sorry, you can't put your bank on there. And there you go. So, and that's what's happening at the library. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I do have one question.
Yes, Lisa.
When you're talking about the number of contacts that you have with children,
Yes.
is there any kind of information that shares the impact having a library in your community has on the success or the achievements of those kids? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know they've done a lot of studies
Right,
on
but I just-
early childhood literacy, that yes, if you didn't grow up probably using the library or reading, having stories read to you, that's very impactful. That a lot of studies have been done on that, especially those who are in education. Yes, and the Library Commission does a study every year. They put out information on, the impact of your library in your community, so, yeah. So there's it's a lot of kids. It's fun because, you go out there in the community and the kids see you, and they see us somewhere else, and then they're like, it's so funny, because little kids are funny. They'll be like, they think we live here, so they'll see us in the grocery store, at the gas station or something, and it's always like, we're not supposed to leave the building, so. I'm sure it's that way for you at the bank, Stuart. We're not supposed to. Anyway, okay, that's it. Thanks, guys, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my comments short because I know we have a lot on the agenda. Over the last couple of weeks, I mentioned to you that we're applying for a build grant for the improvement to 15th Street and Expressway intersection and a secondary access point into the community. So I've been working with a consultant, and there's no way that we could apply for this money without DOT's Infrastructure Hub and the consultants, because that's all they do all day long, every day. Some things that I would like, that I've accomplished with this is we've been able to get some significant numbers of letters of support, and through as of last Wednesday afternoon, there had been about 275 responses to the survey, which I think, we could do better than that, but DOT was actually very excited about it. They said, that's really good. She's like, we put out the same kind of thing for a state project and we might get 5 responses. The fact that you've got 275 and you're only really 5 days into it, 5 to 7 days into it, is impressive. So that's a kudos to the community, but I still would like to have more. I know we said last Friday was the deadline. As long as the survey is open, I think they'll take the responses. One thing that I would like you to consider is our application will be more competitive if we show that we are willing to contribute a local match. And so I know that's not something that we have talked about in this, or intending to spend money in this area, but I know NDOT is having conversations about what their financial commitment might be. And I hope in the next week or so we'll have a statement from them saying, you know, we would be willing to contribute $1 million or $2 million or whatever it is, because I think this is a good project, a good opportunity for them as well. So just think about that. In terms of the total project cost, right now we're looking at about $10.6 million. Federal grants are typically an 80-20. So 20% would be $2.1-ish million. I don't know whether the number that was kind of rolling around my head was maybe 5%. That's $530,000. If we could spend $530,000 and get an improvement to that intersection, we could get an improvement to Run Drive, we could get a crossing from that area into the rest of the community. I think that would be money well spent, but I don't want to put you on the spot. Just think about it, and we can have more conversations probably at our next council meeting about that. On the disaster grant money that we've been working on for the March storm, today I had hopefully it's one of my very last meetings with the FEMA reps for getting the disaster submitted. Our debris removal total project cost ended up being about $70,000 by the time you count in our labor and our contributed equipment costs and the contracted work that we have done. And then on the electric line repair side, it's a little over $1 million in improvement. So those are beginning to move through the cycle of review. The manager, their project, PDMG is what they call it, project delivery manager, that I've been working with, helps us make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and we have documentation for everything that we've submitted. And so I think today, I was at a meeting, we have all of that in place finally, and it's insane. The FEMA wants to be able to tell the story from the very beginning to the very end and trace everything to where it went and how it was disposed of, and is that a legal spot, and all of the things. So I understand they want to ensure that the money we're following all of the rules, and that the money was incurred by us and is appropriate, but it's a lot sometimes. So I think that's all I have. Any questions?
Oh, comment.
Yes.
Do we have a way of on the intersection out there to directly contact all the people in the subdivisions, because they're the ones that are benefiting a lot from this but don't have any tax burden? So
I know that in the subdivisions to the west, north a little bit of Casey's, a lot of those homes have children, right? And
Right.
So there were, 400 flyers distributed at the public school and 250 or 300 at St. Wenceslas, and those went home in the Thursday and Friday folders. So I think that's where you're seeing that positive response. Really kind of kicked myself because I realized that last night was the feeders banquet, and if I was thinking, I would have had that little QR code sitting on the table, because one of the big areas of focus is the impact to freight and the delivery of products and goods, right? And I know that the feeders travel through that, meat cattle out to, there's lots of travel through there. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think
to reach out to them for some dollars,
for dollars. Yeah.
since they don't participate in our tax base.
Right. Well, the improvements to County Road L, I guess maybe the county should reach out to them for contribution to improvements to County Road L.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay, thank you. Okay. We'll move move on.
Oh, did you have that?
I s-
Sorry.
Okay, consent agenda. One item on there that, my appointment, John Lenford, he was recommended by a fellow, department or, committee member. He's talked a little bit with Travis. He attended the last planning and zoning meeting. I contacted him after that. And he, is very complimentary of the process, and I think he will fit in very well. It does make, as Travis said, it does make us more legal now because we had two people in the outside area. And then when Jason Iverson moved from town out there, we had two now, and he's the one that resigned, so he's filling that position, so we are back to where we should be.
Full board.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Comments? Roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
Okay, public hearings, non-action items not requiring a public hearing. Number one, consideration of agreement with Celebrate Life Company to provide digitalization of the City of Wahoo Cemetery records and public website for record display.
So this is a recommendation that came from the cemetery committee that was formed after our cemetery cleanup conversation. And I know you're involved in, Patrick, yeah.
And Chris.
And Chris, right. And so if you guys have anything you want to pitch in or mention, Celebrate Life Go is a company that Joe and Jason Blackwell came across. It's, I would call it basically a startup. And he's looking, his unique, the unique thing about his is that he is relying on advertising and sales of things that family members or interested parties might want to purchase through the website, such as flowers or monument cleaning, but it connects them to local resources. So if you want to buy flowers, Found and Flora, for example, could go on the website, put their information on. He gets a little piece of that, which you see in there is 14%. And then we think we get a tiny little piece of it. And then it's just a way to, am I describing that fairly right? It is much less than any of the other options we have looked at, and I know he's kind of looking to get a foot in the door in the municipal cemetery sector. So I think it's a win for us and a win for him, and it can't hurt to give it a try. There is some work that has to go into it, but
So our cost is the $500, but we may earn some minor commissions on things they sell through there.
our cost for hosting is $500. There is some $4,200 for getting the data into it,
Okay.
right? And so that is, he explained his process, and I don't know if you watched the video that I sent in a link of how he does that, but in our cemetery committee meetings, we had some conversations about for it to be good, we need to make sure that all of the data that we give him is good data. And so there's gonna be some things that maybe the cemetery committee, the volunteers, could assist with in verifying, right? And I think internally, the way we've talked about it is just break it up into pieces and do the easy sections first and get our process down, and then, so it might take 6 months. I think that would be optimistic to get it all in, but yeah, I think once we get the system going, it will. And we did put this money in the budget because we've been talking about this for a while, so.
If I remember correctly, this was significantly less because of, you kind of use this as a case.
Yeah, right.
You know, significantly cheaper than the other.
I think they did some looking at others in municipal, like the data, getting it set up, 20 grand to get it set up versus the $4,200, so.
But then once the hazard, if we, the 30 days is very nice, but if we chose to terminate, who retains ownership of that?
It does say that in here, that he would, at the very end, he would supply us with a copy of the data. Yeah.
Okay.
Service provider shall provide cemetery with a copy of its digitized records, so. And that is really just GIS data.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Because isn't it, once he gets it kind of set up, then we would have somebody that could update it through the GIS if like a plot is sold, that's how it's gonna be. We take it over after he builds it,
Yeah, I think so.
and then we just have somebody update it as lots are sold or something, right?
Yeah, there's two parts of it. There's the public facing side that gets the cemetery records in the public's hands without having to come into City Hall and flip through the books. Then there's the records management side of it on our side, which that's the part that's really been the struggle for me because I've been here for 30 years and I know the paper. Well, I'm older and the younger generation doesn't like the paper. Right? But we're working through that, right? Because I think there is, until we get our process completely refined, we are not abandoning the paper because it's the system that's worked for the last 100 years.
Well, it's a backup.
Any other questions?
If you guys like this,
We need action on that.
Please.
Consideration of an agreement.
Make motion to approve the agreement.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded for entering into this agreement. Any questions? Roll call.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Warford.
yes,
Okay, thank you. Number 2, approval of a waiver of separate submittals for Robert's second edition replat. The replat of lots 1 through 4, block 1, Robert's second edition, the vacated alley, and a portion of the southwest quarter of section 31, which is on the north end of 16th and Elm Street.
we actually approving the replat here, or we're just waiving the fact that things,
Waiving the
Just
separate submittals.
waiving the sentence?
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes,
Ideas,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay. Number 3, approval of the second reading of ordinance 2493 regarding the annexation of Dry Run Commons Phase 1. Anybody want to approve the second reading?
So moved. Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Warford,
yes,
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, you don't need to leave.
There's a basketball game.
Find out the final score. Approval of ordinance 2494, 2026 utility rate ordinance.
Mayor Johnson, City Council. If you recall, during when you approved our budget back in December, for the utilities department, we talked about that we were planning to finalize, and we had, already seen that there was gonna be a recommendation for rate increases from our rate study that was performed by JK Energy Consulting. John Kralski, he has been doing this for many decades throughout the state, and he has now completed this, our second rate study that he's done for us. And he did recommend us to have some rates, and so in your packet, I do believe this full rate study was provided, right? And so at the January Board of Public Works meeting, the Wahoo Board of Public Works unanimously voted to move forward with a rate increase across all 4 utilities. Much of what was driven, each utility is a little different, but electric was driven primarily for 2 main reasons. Our rate increase we are seeing from Nebraska Public Power District on our wholesale power, which was expected. It's as part of our wholesale power agreement. We knew that there would be rate increases all along. What the major benefit of that 35-year contract we signed was the debt service they are undertaking for the new generation is going to be amortized over the life of that contract. And so their rate increases are much more marginal than they would be if they had to have done that in the confines of the length of the existing agreement. And so with their new generation, however, there is a need for them to add some rate increases. We are also looking at making some sizable investments into the like the West Loop project, where we're thinking of potentially up to $2.6 million in debt service on building that West Loop. We are still in the final stages of a siting study for new generation. Just while that pops into my brain, we did operate our power plant through the weekend. As part of this cold weather, NPD did call on us to operate. And so that need is going to be there. And we had some pretty major mechanical issues with our old facility. 3 of the engines this weekend. One of the engines was already back up and running. The other one had to have one of the heads and the pistons pulled out and replaced. That's not like doing it on a car on those big engines. So it's been a little bit of a hectic weekend for those guys down there, but it reinforced the need for us to make investments into extra generation, just to have that redundancy, and then also as we want to increase our capacity purchase agreement with the Nebraska Public Power District. And then, as you can see in the rate study, he baked in some rate increase or some cost and operation expense increases that we are seeing across the board in all 4 utilities, both through labor, our costs associated with our employees, and our costs associated with the things we purchase, the things we do, are driving the needs for some rate increases. What I would have you do if you have it on your computers is turn to a page that looks like this. It would be page 14 of this packet, and it talks about the impact to the average ratepayer. I do also have a copy, and I provided Christina with this too, of one of our customers who may or may not also be a council member, was generous enough to allow us to use them as an example for what a rate increase would look like to what I would consider, maybe not, average isn't the right word, or what I would consider a pretty normal sized home across Wahoo. If you look at these rates, this is your average customer, and so this is going to lean kind of on the smaller side, I would say, than maybe some of our larger homes. If you're looking at a 3 or 4 bedroom house, it's going to be a more impactful rate increase than what you're seeing there. And so if you look at this, what I just handed out to you, you'll see what existing rates look like over the year for one of our customers in 3 or 4 bedroom house. And so if you turn to the next page, you'll see what that rate increases across all 4 looks like on an average monthly bill for this customer. Because at the end of the day, what you're voting for, I know, you can hear percentages all day long, and that doesn't really mean much, but when it comes time to explain to your constituents, they're going to say, well, how much is it going to cost me? And so, to a home, what I would say on the average customer, they're going to see about a $10 a month rate increase. But if you were to say more of maybe a standard family that's living in a home, a 3 or 4 bedroom home, it's going to be more like a $17 a month difference in their overall bill that they're going to see. That also factors in. That's not just our rates, that's the taxes on our rates that increases. So if you increase our rates, then the occupation tax increases, and then the state taxes and city taxes on all of our rates, plus the occupation taxes, are also increased. So it's just kind of it kind of snowballs a little bit there. So, but that's still fairly marginal, but that's what it's going to look like to the average home. We don't want to, by any means, ever get to a point where, it's only $17 a month. $17 a month is that's a meal, you know, right, for some people, and $10 a month even on the low end is a meal, so, yes.
Well, for the longest time, we had very low electric rates. And I think we worked to get that up so we can have some money to do improvements. So in the grand scheme of, you know, where's Wahoo now in the slice of the pie with compared to other communities?
That is something that John had always prepared for us in the past, kind of comparing to us, and I will provide that to you. I don't have it in front of me. I know what I would say is we are right in line with every other utility around us. NPPD, OPPD, LES, Butler Public Power District, City of Seward, they have all had to have rate increases this year, this turnaround. The retail.
Do you know what the rate increase percentage is compared to ours?
So like LES, I believe, did a 4% rate increase mid-year last year and ended up with a, I want to say it was another 3 or 4% at turn of the year. So they did a mid-year rate increase as they were really having some trouble. They directly participate in the marketplace, like NPPD does for us, and so they were having some issues with some of the
But
costs.
they also have a large project going out there they're trying to find power for.
Yeah, right.
So what about like a sewer?
Yeah.
We're more in line with where.
Right. I haven't seen what their rates are doing this year, but I can follow up with that.
Yeah.
I do know that they are also a wholesale power customer on NPPD, and so they are under a lot of the same, external forces that we are that are pushing our rates up. But, that's a tremendous question, and I should have had that information, Shane. I can look it up and.
I'm just curious to see, because if we get feedback from the community, we have something to harm back.
Absolutely, and that's our goal, right? I think one of the things our rate consultant has always said in the past is, you don't want to be the cheapest, because that generally means you're probably not making the investments you need, unless there's some really good reasons why you can be cheaper. But we don't want to be the most expensive. We want to be competitive, and we want to absolutely be the most affordable. Our last round of rates we did increase, we were still the cheapest residential rate in the area. And so, that I will get that information out to everyone, and we can get it out on our website and for our customers, where we stand after these rate increases.
Okay, thank you.
It does look like there's an article in October, City of Seward increased their rates by 3% last October.
Thank you, yeah. And that would be in line because they have we are on a calendar year, budget year for utilities. City of Seward's on a fiscal year that's October 1st, beginning of the year. So, thank you for providing that. And that would be right in line with what we're doing. And so we were cheaper than Seward in their rates, and so if we're both increasing with 3%, we're still cheaper. And I always want to make sure we beat Seward in rates because that's my hometown, so. I gotta beat my hometown and rates, so.
I just think it's great that we're armed with that kind of information when people come to us.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we don't take it lightly that rate increases, we don't want it to get into a point where it's, we're just building in these rate increases all the time. But there is a fact of, just like everyone, right, our labor costs are going up, we have to be competitive. Electrical is one of those where when we did the, cost comparability study with our staff, and I know Seward ran into that too, we want to keep staff, be competitive, and it has an impact on rates.
So water went up 5%. Didn't we get a big grant to help with water?
Yeah, right.
So how do I explain that?
Sure, that's a great question. The grant was if you remember all the water projects, we were doing about $5.7 million. 35% of that is a grant. The remainder is a loan. And so we will have fairly good debt service, and if you would go into his study, we'll have about $144,000 of debt
It's
service.
like 0% interest though, right?
That's right, yep, but that's still an increase over what our debt service was in water prior to this.
And it was a tremendous project. Had to do it, but it's just nice to be able to talk through a 5% increase.
Absolutely, yep. And what I would say in the water department specifically, that was one department where we were the cheapest in the state of Nebraska on water by a long ways. And since I've been here, reason we were so cheap is there was no investment in Wahoo's water infrastructure. And you as a council, the Board of Public Works, have made that investment, and that is tremendous, and I think it's been a really good decision. However, you know, the debt service, even though I think we hit a home run for timing, you couldn't have replaced our water mains at a better, more fiscally responsible time. 0% interest, 35% loan forgiveness. But the debt service, and we do have some additional costs associated with that department. We were understaffed in that department. When I came on board, we had a staff of 4, and that was for water, wastewater, production, treatment, and in that department, they pay us for our time, but we help the village of Weston, the village of Malmo. So it was just ridiculously understaffed. So we've added staff to that department, and we are taking on the replacement of all of our lead and galvanized lines with our staff because of some of the fun we've had with contractors. I said, we're not gonna do that. This will be a much more intimate involved into our 100 homes across Wahoo. I wanna make sure that we have our staff doing it because I trust them. And so, there's a cost associated with that too. But what I will say, if you look at that 5% increase still on water, that's a pretty marginal number. It sounds like a large percentage increase, but the actual rate, dollar amount, if I can get to the right page here, you know, a 5% is $1.56, you know, on a water product. So our water is cheap. 5% sounds scarier than it is. We're still pretty marginal on the water increase. But that's a good question, and how did, you know, I think had we had to do traditional bonding, we would have been looking at some pretty significant rate increases going forward. So I think we timed that well. We're not done with our water projects. Part of the reason for the rate increase is we do have to finish up that west loop that we're doing on the west side.
I'm glad we got it done, and kudos to you for getting it put together.
Yeah, thank you,
So,
yeah. It's been a lot of work, and Melissa's helped a lot with it too.
Okay.
The comment that was made to me, I don't know for sure when this family got their January bill, it staggers, but he looked back and his bill was $100 more than last year. Was that?
Yeah, there was a real spike of my bill was substantially higher. I don't know if all yours was too. There was a weird time, like some real cold in December. And if you look at the average temp for the month, it was only 34. So it's kind of misleading because we had some real warm days to end the month. But during those real cold days, it
So it would have been in heat.
Yeah. So that heating cost was quite a bit higher. Me personally, and kind of anecdotally, it was much more expensive for me too. This last bill than it was previously. So
I would say mine came in about $40 less than my monthly budgeted amount.
that's good.
I'm cheap, I guess.
Yeah.
Turn it down, put a blanket on.
We are seeing right now also what you'll see, this is unrelated to our rate increases. Northern Natural Gas is passing through us a substantial rate increase on the transportation of our natural gas. But that's out of our control. They will settle it back, but they're looking at they want to try and get an 80% rate increase on transportation. And that's not misspeaking, that's an 87% rate increase to be true, to be completely clear. But they'll probably end up settling somewhere closer to 32% is what FERC will let them have. So, which feels like extortion, because we can't buy from another pipeline. There is no second pipeline that we can go to buy our gas, so we're just we're at the mercy of what Northern Natural Gas thinks they should get for rate increases. And this is the third time since I've been here, they're gonna probably settle out at a 30% rate increase. So that's 30% rate increases in the last 6 years. Yeah. So that is impacting our customers on there. That's a portion of that part that's called the PGA. If you ever look at your bill, if you look even at this example bill, if you look at the PGA, a portion of that is the transportation costs that we get from Northern Natural Gas. The other two parts that make it up are commodities from Clayton Energy, which is just a broad, that they do all of our commodity purchasing, and then the other is our part of Clayton Energy secured the PFA natural gas contract that we get. So another index that we buy our gas off of. And we have made through, while I'm here, I guess I'll just share too. There was some real staggering prices jumping through the roof. If you remember back in 21, we saw those spikes in gas prices in February 21. Similar, not to that extent, but it did get high over the weekend. Luckily, according to Bill, we were hedged, and the program we're on, we hedged over 100% of our winter normal usage, or close to 100% of our normal winter usage. And that has protected us from being exposed to the spot market.
So what was our price versus the spot? What did the spot get?
So our price was a blended rate at, I think, $5.50 or maybe $6 a decatherm, and it hit over $75 a decatherm for the weekend. Yeah, there was actual contracts at $75. I think there were offers in the hundreds, but I think there was contracts at $75. So think about that's 10 times what we are paying for it per decatherm, and so our hedging, it comes with risk, or it comes with the reality that at times when it's warm in January, we're actually selling back at a loss because we overhedged. But I view that as a cheap insurance, and not getting stuck with $200,000 bills.
Protect yourself from the
Yeah.
spikes.
Any other comments? Okay, approval would be introducing ordinance 2494-2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is that,
Motion to introduce, excuse me.
I can second that.
Okay, introduction of the ordinance, anybody want to waive, or you want to?
Motion to waive.
Second.
Motion to waive the three readings. Okay, we got enough here. Roll call on waiving.
Warford,
Yes.
Krejci,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That was just the way.
Final reading.
Warford,
Yes.
Krejci,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Okay, number 5, action to approve the purchase of new AED devices with Keno funds.
so in the packet, I offered an explanation, and I don't remember dates very well, and Kevin can chime in because he's brought it to our attention, but we have AEDs that we have had at the library, City Hall, Park and Rec that are have reached their useful life, and we need to replace them. It's not something that was on my radar when we did budget work, and so I'm asking for you to commit an amount not to exceed $10,000 from our Keno funds to uphold this commitment that we've made to having these AEDs available in the public. We are working on getting them as cheaply as we can through grants or discounts and such, but I guess that, fire away if you have any questions.
How much does that leave us in the Keno fund?
I, off the
You
top
got
of my
enough
head.
to put it, to spend 10, right?
Yes, we do, yes, yes. I think we have, I'm trying to remember what we've committed, but yes, I wouldn't be here asking for you if we didn't have.
That won't cover ones in the cruisers or anything like that, right?
No, those are new,
Yeah, that's what.
right,
So it's just the static ones, Civic Center.
yeah, I got
City
counting
Hall.
in,
Well, what happens is it's engineered obsolescence, right?
yeah,
So we have, the city across all of our public buildings have what's called CR Life Pack Pluses, or Life Pack CR Pluses. You can't get pads and electrodes for them anymore. So it's engineered obsolescence. The units themselves are probably good, but it's just a way for them to sell you more new AEDs, right? So I've got 6 total in my department. One of them does not need replacing, so I've got 5. Sam Crawford Aquatic Center, 2 at Hackberry, Senior Center, and Civic Center. City Hall has 1, library has 1. So across the board, we've got them in all of our facilities. Keep in mind, we want units, and Melissa and I talked about what we want to go into, but we want units that, because these are going to be, God forbid if they ever need to be used, and knock on wood, we haven't had to use any of them in the time that I've had them. We've had them for probably almost 20 years. But it's going to be a member of the public likely that would use them, right? And Sam Crawford or Hackberry, one of our patrons or spectators, if there was an incident. So we want something that's intuitive, that's easy to use, and most of them are right now. So
What is the lifespan
The
typically?
ones that we would be replacing were purchased in, May of 2018,
Okay.
so 8 years.
yeah, mine are a little bit older. I had one of the first ones in the city probably 15 years ago. We had them at the Civic Center, at least that one at the Civic Center 15 years ago. That's pretty good.
You don't charge them typically, right? I mean, they just sit on a shelf.
Ongoing maintenance includes new pads and electrodes, but with these new units that we potentially are looking at, that's increased out about every 4 years that you have to buy that stuff. So
That's pretty, it's
they're perfectly fine, and you probably, once they are expired, the pads and electrodes and the charge packs, they probably could still be used. It's just, that's a liability issue you don't want. So. And ours are rapidly approaching expiration here, coming up in February. So,
pretty
And
insignificant cost.
Sir, were you on the council when we
You'll get to choose one.
had a heart attack happen actually at the council table?
No, I was not at that. What year was that?
Yeah, I remember that, I was there that night, yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, we were talking
Dr.
about,
Hart performed CPR on him.
what,
Dr. Hart performed.
was he there?
Yeah, Dr. Hart was there. It was the fluoride in the water,
Yeah,
like, he was
fluoride in
there
the
to try to stop the fluoride, they were anti-fluoride.
Spot one, Lebanon.
It's up.
But people were yelling, do you have an AED? Do you have an AED? Well, of course they do, and the fire hall is right next door, but that's a matter
Yeah.
of getting there and getting unlocked and all that, so.
80s are important.
it's expected.
CPR doesn't bring anybody back, it just prolongs life. AEDs can restore pulse. They're great. So, I would make a motion to approve.
Been a motion and second to approve the purchase of the devices from the Keno funds. Any questions? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Krejci,
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Number 6, approval of capital improvement projects for Park and Rec Department, Sam Crawford Field and Civic Center Pool.
Well, as per typical protocols for expenditures from the capital project sales tax fund, all of those projects are required to be approved by you folks. And so I've got two on board or coming that I'd like to ask for your review and consideration and hopefully approval of. One is more immediate, short term, and that's the Civic Center. We are in need of replacement of our 2 hot water circulation pumps. They are the original 30-plus-year-old pumps. We've replaced the motors on them, which are a little more inexpensive, but we need the new pump side of things. And so what you have in front of you is the replacement of the pumps, the materials, the pumps themselves. There's 2 of them. Each of them are around $5,500. So take that number times 2, so it'd be about $11,000 for the materials, the product, and then installation would be done by Prairie Mechanical, who's our contracted mechanical. Pipe fitters would come in and do the work for the price listed on their estimate. The total project cost about $22,000 to do that. This was something, keep in mind, both of these projects and the next one I'm going to speak about were included in a request that we did when we went through budget process back in the fall. This particular project was what I considered a secondary amount. You don't ever know when these things are going to go poorly and go out, and so it's kind of a contingency is to have some money set aside for mechanical, and that's what this was as a secondary budgeted item. So, and in fact, I requested $30,000, so we'll be spending a little bit less than that.
Well, they're not done with it yet. They might find issues.
Let's say possible. That's your question.
I will say I would look forward to those pumps because it was a cold Saturday morning when I was
Yeah,
out.
we've had some cold
Yeah.
water here last month or so,
Yeah.
and we've been fighting the pumps and
Just to help
getting
with
them
it.
to stay. We've got them Band-Aided, one of them running right now, Band-Aided together in Wahoo, so. The second one is a longer-term project, not only in terms of it'll be done here this fall, and that's our goal would be to do it this fall at Sam Crawford, but it's also long-term in the sense that we've been preparing for this budgetarily for 3 years. We've had set-asides, requested and approved set-asides through the Capital Improvement Fund of $50,000 the last 3 years. And so we have the funds now to be able to move forward, and that is a complete backstop replacement project at Sam Crawford. We move the existing backstop from dugout to dugout, which is all of that chain link. And then we would put in a fence, or excuse me, a net, 40-foot high backstop, similar to what you see at Hackberry on the south end, the new fields on the south end. This would be actually a little taller because we want to catch more foul balls. We have only a 20-foot high backstop now, and so we go double what we have now. And so also from sight visibility, sight lines for the spectators much better as well. And then the other piece of this is the concrete side of it, and that is coming in and tearing out all the flat work in the entrance, the sidewalk that wraps around the grandstand, as well as the flat work, all of the concrete in front of the concession and restaurant building, which is getting pretty chewed up a little bit, cracked up and all of that. So we're using a local contractor, Emmy Collins, for the concrete work. And then we are bringing in the same company that we used that was the subcontractor for the Hackberry South Side project, Mack Brothers out of Omaha. Very comfortable with what they've done for us and the quality of what they did at Hackberry. And they would come in and do very similar work here at Sam Crawford. Timeline would be this fall, right after the conclusion of our baseball season in early August, right after the Kiwanis All-Star game. Take them a couple months, get it done, because that's really our window to do something large like this at Sam Crawford, because believe it or not, we will have practices, high school, beginning in about a month in February, weather permitting at Sam Crawford this year. So my point is we're looking ahead, but I wanted to kind of get ahead of this a little bit and lock these guys in as vendors ahead of this, get us, I should say, on their schedule, so we can be ready to go come August. And again, this amount, total amount, and there might be a little bit more to this with things like a PA system. We'll see. I'm trying to see if I can get that donated. But the amount we had set aside was $150,000. You can see by the numbers here, we're coming in at about 120 to 125. So again, less than what we anticipated. And part of that's by using a local concrete vendor with Collins doing the work for that. So that's the scope of the work for both of those. And if you have any questions, be more than happy to hopefully provide some answers.
Are you aware of what Devaney's doing with all the chairs taken out of Devaney? Are they gonna be available?
Good question. I do not know anything about that, Jerry. They're taking some out. That's
They're
part of
taking
the
all
renovation.
the chairs.
Are they making them available again? That's the goal?
Huh?
Are they making them available to the public?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the plan is, but I know we got a good deal on the ones from,
We did.
Yeah.
Half of them were from Rosenblatt, the other half were from Devaney.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably 6,000 chairs.
Well, if you hear something, let me know.
I'll try and find out.
Well, you budgeted these projects, we're ready to go, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your action?
Stuart made a motion. and
Oh, Stuart did?
Carl seconded.
Carl, okay. Questions?
Or Shane.
Yeah.
Who seconded?
Shane, doesn't matter either one
That's
of
what I
us.
thought, second.
Can't see your face.
Roll call on the capital improvements.
Creachy,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Warford,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
Number 7, approval of a resolution to declare property as surplus.
These are actually ours this time.
Yeah, if we're done with them, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Questions? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Number 8, approval of the list of members of the Wahoo Volunteer Fire Department who met the qualifications of the Nebraska Volunteer Emergency Responders Act for 2025. There's a list in your report.
I can answer any questions if you have.
Is that verified internally or?
The fire department has a specific person that keeps track of all of the activities throughout the year. And from what I've heard across the state, I think we're one of the few that actually does it the way we're supposed to do it. Is that that's what I've heard?
That's what I've heard too. A lot of departments just say, yep, you're a member, and they give it to them, and nobody tracks all the points and everything. All of our points are tracked right down to, if you've got 49, you don't qualify, so. Our department is Also, to be considered an active member, you have to qualify. I mean, we use this point system to decide who's an active member, and if you're not an active member, you end up on probation. So we require a little more participation in our department.
And how many points do you need?
You have to have 50 points. You get 25 points for responding to 10% of the calls throughout the year, and the rest of the points are earned through training and public relations work and things like that. There's a possible of 100 points.
I think there's, I don't remember exact, 10 to 12 that didn't qualify.
Yeah, generally speaking, those are people that are either, they're on the fire department, but listed on the fire department as members of the EMS department that don't really run the fire, or they are new. They came on this year and just haven't had time to qualify. I don't think we had maybe one or two that are regular members that didn't qualify.
And this list determines who receives the civic center benefit as well, which is an individual membership. So we use this list. Whoever's on this list qualifies for that perk as well.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion made and seconded to approve. Questions? Roll call.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Warford?
Abstain.
Okay, carried. Number 9, action to allow the city clerk to approve special designated liquor license request from Knights of Columbus for their annual fish fries, if they are requested.
Which they were requested, so.
Should this include all of them, or are we still gonna have to do a special one for the 6th?
Should be one more.
We'll probably need a special one for the last one, but I'll motion to approve this one.
Second.
Okay, then motion second to approve. Questions? Roll call.
Ideas?
Yes.
Creachy?
Yes.
Warford?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Okay, mayor's comments. The only, I guess, as the city now has moved into the new location, I won't call it temporary, but kind of is, the new location, I suggested a long time ago that, kind of jokingly, but I said I'll approve this project, capital expenditure project, if we get the street paved in front of City Hall. So, we've talked a little bit about it to try and get it done after the asbestos is out and after trucks are around there cleaning out debris and stuff, could tear it up a little more. But after that we would close that street while they're working on the inside. So, get that figured out, probably in next year's budget. That's my only comments right now. Any other comments?
Only comment I have is, I did stop in the new temporary home of City Hall last week, and I will say kudos to Melissa and Christina and the whole staff for making that move as fast as you did and as efficient as you did. I was completely shocked at how organized it was when I came in there on that Wednesday. Pretty incredible, so great job, you guys.
I've been in there a couple times. We had a department head meeting there last week and went real well. And in the back conference room. When I first went in there, I said, this looks very professional compared to, yeah. Anybody else?
No, 10 seconds left in the game.
Is that my 3?
Hit it.
No, hate to tell you the game's over.
Wow.
Yeah.
February
I got
17th
1.6 still
is
left.
the last day for you guys to,
February what?
17th.
There's nothing else?
I was gonna say, should I say the 28th? Last day.
Gotta say it's the last.